I like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakak Wadash, the bonds to the apostles and elders of GMS, and citations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. So I was talking to one of the brothers last night, being dropped off at the house, and I told the brother something that I like doing in the camp is listening more than I actually speak. And the Spirit had me think of the word speak. So I put it up in there to find a couple scriptures on it, on the word speak, because, I have been in this truth a little while, right? And I have watched guys fall out. I have watched guys come and go, right? And I'm not saying that it could never happen to me, but Lord willing, the Most High keep the Spirit on me to keep pushing, right? This isn't a video to talk about pride or anything like that. This is a video to say that it is better for you to listen than to speak, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it is better for you to listen than to speak. And when you're on the highways and byways, you're teaching. Of course, you have to speak. If the apostles and elders or whomever asks you a question about something, yeah, it's okay to speak. But a lot of times it's better for you to just listen than actually speaking. If you listen and learn, then you can speak on it, right? And you can make your words be few instead of a long list of things you want to, right? You just want to allocate out there. So my thing is, it's best to listen than to speak. It's best to learn than to speak. Like if you are amongst the Akim, you just sit there and listen to brothers, man. You don't really even have to say nothing. You could be involved and whatnot and say whatever you got to say. But a lot of times it's just better to listen, man. It's just better to listen. So let me grab this, because this is what I came across, right? Sirach 18 and 19. Learn before thou speak. Learn before thou speak. I remember first coming into this thing on the other side, before I came into this thing, actually. And I was on the other side. And when you're on the other side, all you're mostly doing is you're listening and you're taking down notes. You're just trying to learn. You're observing what they are saying. And I remember being on the other side and I'm just listening. And I'm listening to brothers speak about us being Israelites, the true name of the Father and the Son. I'm listening about prophecies that's talking about the destruction of Babylon. I'm listening about scriptures that talks about a lot of death taking place on the earth and the Lord doing it. I'm listening to all these things. I'm taking them in. And it's like when you're crossing the other side, it's best to do the same thing, man. It's best to just listen. It don't matter how many years you've been in this thing. You been in this thing for 10 years, 15, 20, 25. It's always best to just listen and learn, man. Listen and learn. Take down notes. Whatever. That's the whole point of watching a video. You can sit up there and watch a video and say nothing back. For real. You can sit up there and listen to a video, say nothing back. You're just listening. You're just listening. You're observing. You're seeing scriptures being put out, or whether if you're watching videos on a debate, whatever, you're listening and you're learning and you're absorbing it, right? And you're trying to absorb it in your mind so maybe you can use it yourself, right? That's what you're doing, like gurgitation. At the same time, you're going back to look these things up and study these things and learn these things, even though you're gurgitating what you're hearing out there, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We learn from somebody. Like if you go to school, right? Well, let's just say this. When we pick up a book and we read it, we're regurgitating the words that was written in this book, which means these words were said before. Now it's written in a book. We're using these words and now we're regurgitating them. The only difference is that when we're saying these words, we're also comparing these precepts, these book, chapter, and verses to what's going on in the world today. That's it. But guess what? It's better to listen, absorb it, listen to it, right? And then learn the breakdown of it, and then bring it out. So it's always better to listen and learn before you actually speak, man. That's why myself, man, I've always done that. Even before I came in the truth, I just always listened and observed people. And like I said before, I didn't listen to dudes while I was in a camp. I didn't listen to other camps, dudes in other camps, talk about this and that and the third, and go right back into the world. So a lot of talking, all that ain't nothing, man. But just doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua will show more than just talking, right? But of course, we do our videos. We go out in the highways and byways. When we among Akim, we're breaking down precepts. We're talking about the scriptures. We're doing this, etc. But it's always come down to listening first before you speak. Listening first before you speak. Again, it's not about being in this thing for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. Because guess what? Dudes who have been in the camp for that long are now back out in the world because you did more of speaking than you actually did just learning, just listening, right? So, Lord willing, speaking on myself too, that's let the Lord keep the spirit upon me and the Akim that's still doing this thing and pushing the word, let it stay upon them as well. And let these brothers keep on pushing and teaching too. But again, it's always better for you to learn, listen before speaking, because all that talking don't get you nowhere, right? There's something else that I wanted to get to in the book of Sirach that I came across. Oh, this is a perfect one. Hey, this is exactly what I'm speaking about. Sirach 32:7. That's not even the one that I came across. Look, it says, speak, young men, if there be need of thee. Like the apostles. Hey, the apostles are out of nowhere just ask brothers a question. Hey, I just asked you a question out of nowhere. Now it's time for you to speak. Right? You're making a video. It's time for you to speak. You out on the highways and byways. The brother say, hey, brother, go ahead and do your thing. It's time for you to speak. But when it ain't time for you to speak, it's better for you not to speak. And just listen and learn. Right? It says, speak, young men, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. So it's always better for you to just listen, man. Just listen. You know what I'm saying? Just listen. But there is another one that I actually came across in Sirach. That was a beautiful one right there, man. That's exactly what I was speaking about. Salaki, I think it was 20 something. Right. Sirach 27:7. Praise no man before thou heareth him speak, for this is the trial of men. Right? Because when you do hear men speak, sometimes, when you come across somebody speaking, when you dealing with somebody in the world speaking, you will look at them funny because what they speaking about is just nonsense. And when you're dealing with a brother in the truth, what he's speaking about, Lord willing, it be of what the scriptures are speaking about or prophecies or whatever. But you like Khan, you know what I'm saying? You like Khan. So just speaking shows where you at, shows what type of spirit is on you in this truth. And like I say, man, a lot of times it's better for you to just listen to the speak, man. Listen to the speak. Listen more than speaking. Because sometimes you can have a mouth on you and don't even know it. You could be speaking a whole lot and don't even know it, man. Just talkative and don't even know it. So you might come across a brother that might just tell you need to relax a little bit, man. But again, man, it's better for you to just learn and listen before speaking, man. Right? So I want to get that one back, right? Sirach 18 and 19. Learn before thou speak, and use physic or ever thou be sick. So ultimately learn before thou speak, man. So learn before you speak, man. It's better to absorb all that in. Absorb all of it in, man. Coming from apostles and elders and, brothers that are, bishops or deacons or lieutenants, because these are men that are learned men and still pushing the word and still in his truth. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with men that have been in this thing for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, you know what I'm saying? They got a lot of knowledge that they can speak on, man, and tell you. You just sit there and you listen to it. You listen to it, you take heed of it, you learn, and then afterwards you speak on it, right? And you make your words be few, right? And that's it. But it's always better to listen before you actually speak. But other than that, I'm going to end it from there and say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double ones to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work. In truth and sincerity, I like to say shalom.